and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty, and with me, as always, is the man who is fluent in over 6 million forms of communication, Mr. Drew Celestino.
6 million forms, and yet I don't understand Ewoks very well.
But do you speak Bocce?
Of course, sir. It's like a second language to me.
All right, just making sure.
Evaporators.
Moisture. How you doing, sir?
Okay.
You're okay?
What a chore to get here today, man. I'll tell you what. It's weird when I'm driving up here at 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:15 ish.
You take 290?
On the 290.
Yeah. Kind of hit some traffic.
It's not so much the traffic.
Okay.
It's the sun.
Yes. Yes.
It is like there is no coverage. There is no clouds. The sun is in the perfect point in the sky to be directly. You are driving into the sun.
Yep.
Literally.
Well, as
blinding.
As C. Montgomery Burns once stated, man has always yearned to blot out the sun.
This is true. This is very true.
And I think for the most part, as soon as we figure out how to keep the gravitational effects of the sun working, we can blot out the sun, because everything else the sun gives us, we can create artificially.
Is that accurate? I don't know. I don't
light.
know.
We can make light.
Yeah.
Light for growing lamps. We do that already. Vitamin D. We have vitamin D supplements.
I mean, you might want to consider heat.
We can. You're saying we can't generate heat artificially?
Not like the sun can.
We could still generate heat. We're from Buffalo. We're used to a lower level of heat most of the time than the rest of.
I think you underestimate the coldness of the universe, my friend.
Maybe a scarf, some gloves. All
right. We'll get you signed up for that Mars mission. Bring your scarf and gloves.
There you go. So it's just you and I this week, sir.
It's back to the twosome.
First time in a little while now that we it's just us. We are in, as Drew mentioned, we are in Monte Carlo Studios at my place. Jen, unfortunately, is feeling a little under the weather, Drew's wife. So, Jen, we hope you feel better. That being said, sir, how was your week? Oh, boy, here we go. Let me get comfortable.
It was fine. Had my brew. We can dive into that if you like.
Yeah, we got a kitchen brew
coming up. All right, maybe I'll save the story for that then. So I had a brew Saturday. Sunday was rather uneventful. Mostly just hanging out with the old man, enjoying the Bills game and some fine beers, and then the usual. What's the word I'm looking for? Slog. That is my week. Yeah,
that's a good word. I like that word.
It's a good
slog.
Good slog.
Use that.
Nothing eventful occurred over the last 5 days since the weekend when events happened. So
gotcha.
That's it, man. That's
because I know you and your dad used to go to a pizza plant for your Sundays. Where you guys go now?
Pizza plant has long since been abandoned.
Yes.
Reasons. No, we generally, if we go out now, we're going to hit up the Griffin Pub.
Gryffindor?
Pub.
Gryffindor?
No.
Okay. Well, just checking.
The Griffin Pub. There are 2 locations. We do not go to the one in Niagara Falls for obvious reasons. A little far. So the one on Transit Road up near, what is that? Klein? I want to say Klein. It's up there. It's north.
Okay.
Going out towards Clarence. But 100 taps, usually.
Wow.
Yep. And they rotate in great stuff, and the menu is actually fantastic. I've had tons of stuff on it, and everything is really good. So, yeah.
So, like typical pub food? Or
gastropub. So, okay. Eclectic. Not eclectic, but a little beyond just pub
hipster?
Food. No. I wouldn't say hipster. I'd say just good food.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I trust your opinion when it comes to the foods.
I do enjoy the foods.
Yeah, excellent.
So yeah, outside of the brew, which we can dive into at a later point, that's it. That was the week. I will avoid dwelling on much more than that. There you go.
Alrighty.
How about you? How was the week?
It was a week. You know, nothing.
See, I'm not the only one. It's a week.
Yeah, but you've got kind of a downtrodden tone to your week where I'm just
I
like,
know,
hey, you know what?
But then I chip her up. I get into a story and I perk right up. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah, work stuff, baby stuff. Picked up the Luke Cage soundtrack this week.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, mixed reviews?
Mixed reviews.
Why?
All the music is great.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I would have liked, how traditionally movies you'll get like, depending on the movie, you'll get 2 soundtracks. You'll get the like
score and
music inspired by or music used in the movie.
Sure.
And then the second soundtrack will be the score.
Yeah.
They kind of threw those 2 together for this.
Okay.
So there's like 54 tracks on the album.
Whew.
But they kind of shortchange you on like the music used in the movie. Like you don't get all of the music that was played in Harlem's Paradise. You only get like 3 or 4 songs.
Oh.
And then you get the Method Man rap, the Bulletproof Love.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is great. But then the rest of it is the orchestral score, which is fantastic.
Do you get the theme song?
Yes, you
All
get
right.
the theme song, you
All
get
right.
the opening theme, you get the closing theme, you get a lot of the orchestral that was used in it, which is great because it sounds like, 70s action film score, which
Sure.
it's great, but I would have really liked
More of the licensed score?
Yeah, I would have liked a CD of the licensed music. So yeah, got that, been listening to that at work. Nothing too much. Had a big week at the shop this week. A lot of
Yeah, likewise.
big stack.
Likewise.
We're going to be going into a little bit of that. But yeah, that was pretty much it. So nothing too outrageous or crazy for us this week. But listeners, as always, if you want to tell us about your week, if you want to make a suggestion to us about the show, if you would like to communicate with us in any way, shape, or form, you can do so at the following mediums. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Devils Do. Or just Devils Do. One week I'm going to get through this without screwing up.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, we can dream.
So someone else out there has the handle that you're screwing up.
Yeah.
And they're getting messages and they're like, who?
Who's what? I don't care about Daredevil. I'm just a satanic practitioner.
Hey, man.
You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all this information on our awesome website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Now, this is our 16th episode.
Oh, my, really?
16.
16.
Yeah. So
We can drive.
we can drive.
No more learner's permit for us.
We can get our license to drive
Do we get to drive a Mercedes?
with Heather Graham passed out in the trunk.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
All right.
Blue Cadillac.
Can I get 80s Corey Feldman and not new weirdo Corey Feldman?
Oh, did you see his
I'm
latest
trying
report?
not to,
It's
honestly.
So
No.
great.
I know that he's doing
It's
I know
so
he's doing
great.
things now, but I don't care. I don't
It's
want to see
like-
it.
It's like sitting next to the train tracks with a big old bucket of popcorn because trains are coming from each direction.
Oh, God.
And they're just going to collide.
Oh, I don't want it. No, that's I morbid curiosity got the better of me the first time. I'm not going through that again.
It's so great.
I don't know about that, but
Folks, if you're wondering what we're talking about, just go on YouTube and search Corey Feldman Today Show Performance or Good Morning America Performance, whichever one. I believe he's performed on either one.
okay. So here's the thing: if the first one was a train wreck, certifiable, and it was, and everyone, but here's the problem though: it was a train wreck that everyone talked about, so it got attention.
Yeah.
For the wrong reasons, but it got attention.
Yeah.
So what'd they do? They gave him another shot on it.
Yep.
See this,
Which was even more of a train wreck.
Now I know the media is just screwing with us. Like that's if it's bad, don't put it on. Even if it's like, that's
Maybe, listen,
that's silly.
maybe it's just they've got a slot to fill. And there's no one else out there. Like
Long
even-
Cold Dark is waiting by the phone, son. I'll show up. I'll go to New York City tonight.
Okay, so this being our 16th episode, and for a good chunk of those episodes, we've had some viewer questions, as we do tonight.
Okay.
So
Keep 'em coming.
I think it's time we name the viewer questions.
Oh,
segment.
I thought you said it was time for a theme song. I'd have to I have to go to work then.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to stop you from working your magic.
Bumps are hard to write. Let's just...
Or maybe just like a sound effect. Maybe not so much for this one as like, well, yeah, you know what? You do your thing. Anyway, I thought we could call the viewer question segment of the show cross-examination.
Okay, I like it.
All right. Keeping with the court theme.
You got it. You got a thing going here.
Did I say court is in session? I don't think I said court is in session.
You might be slipping.
Well, court is now in session, and it's time for cross-examination.
Okay.
And it is with our good friend, Jay Gelsomino. Jay
might need a song.
Jay's been keeping up with the questions, folks. Some of you out there who have sent in questions have been slacking off a little bit, so please keep those questions coming to us. Cross-examine us, if you will. Drew.
Hi.
Your question from Mr. Gelsomino.
I'm all ears.
Do you feel that Dick Jones's arms grew as he fell out of the building after RoboCop shot him because his arms are like the Grinch who stole Christmas's heart? Jay, please, for the love of God, when you write these questions, read them out loud to yourself before you hit the send button. Thank you. Signed, lovingly, Carl Duty.
Wait, was that part of his question?
No, I'm just saying that.
Oh, that's an aside.
That was just aside. So
okay.
So the first, this is a 2-part question. Then you have a second question.
Okay.
So the first part of a question again: do you feel that Dick Jones's arms grew as he fell out of the building after RoboCop shot him because his arms are like the Grinch who stole Christmas's heart? That was a mouthful.
Yes, his arms are proportional to the size of his guilt.
I see what you did there.
And in that moment, he knew he was guilty.
All righty. And section B of the question.
Okay.
Did Dick finally see the errors of his ways during that fateful plummet?
No. No, he did not.
All right.
Because if he did, the arms would have shrank back down to size. He would have accepted his guilt.
Science.
Yeah. See?
I mentioned a couple episodes back that I've been watching through Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah.
Again, which I'm on the last season. But there was an episode, I think early season 6, where the actor who played Dick Jones played the captain, took over the Enterprise for a little bit.
Was he a jerk there too?
Yep.
He had the jerk role down.
Yeah.
That was his niche.
Yeah.
He's good at it.
He's got such a kindly grandfather look to him, too.
Oh, don't cross Dick Jones.
No. Okay.
He's a real shark.
Jay's second question.
Okay.
Do you know anyone else who has the name Black Dynamite?
Lots of cats have that name.
Oh, little girl.
That's right.
Lots of cats have that name.
That's correct.
Good answer. Okay. You're so far away.
I know, but it'd be awkward if we were any closer.
I'll agree with that.
Okay. Carl.
What's up?
Who do you feel is the more misunderstood character in film history?
Okay.
The Gimp in Pulp Fiction or Eddie Arkadian in The Last Dragon?
I'm going to say Eddie Arkadian because you know what? We know what the Gimp's about. The Gimp's there. You see him. You know what he's about. Eddie Arkadian.
I don't know. I have questions about the Gimp.
Eddie Arkadian, is he a villain? Yeah. But you know what? He was just trying to get what's-her-name's career off the ground, up and running. And did he take some extreme measurements to do so?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He threw in with the Shogun of Harlem, which, is timely for this show now. But his intentions were good.
Okay. All right. It's your question. I'm like, I have nothing.
All right.
Okay. Okay, next question.
Okay.
In episode 2F09, when Itchy plays Scratchy's skeleton like a xylophone, he strikes the same rib in succession, yet he produces 2 clearly different tones. I mean, what are we to believe? That this is a magic xylophone or something?
See, that's just a stolen question. And yes, it was a magic xylophone, but that's just a stolen question. You're slacking, Jay. Getting lazy.
Okay. We have a question for Alan, but he's not here.
Alan is not here, but I believe Jay said he could answer via email.
Okay. Alan?
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
He's in Atlanta this week.
He's in Hotlanta.
Hotlanta.
Alan is in the birthplace of twerking.
Alrighty.
I hope he's got the whole twerk team up on his business right now. Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
Okay, Alan, if you're here, you can answer or email your response next week. So we're expecting your response next week, Alan. Would you rather be the Prince of Zamunda or the King of Panama? I can't wait for the answer. All right, that's Joe's or Jay's questions.
So far away. Okay, that brings cross-examination to a close.
Aw, okay.
But now we get to open up the case files.
Okay.
Drew, I said last week that I'm so happy it's October.
Yeah.
I'm very happy it's October.
Okay.
But now I'm slightly less happy that it's October, because it means that it is not December.
Ah.
More importantly, it means it's not December 16th.
Ah.
The day after my birthday.
Wait. It opens on the 16th?
Yes.
Star Wars we're talking about, right?
Yes, Star Wars Rogue One. New trailer
Damn,
this week.
I have a show the 16th. Oh.
Drew?
What am I going to do here?
Priorities are clear.
I'm trying to think if there's any possibility of a midnight showing the night before.
They don't really do midnight showings anymore.
Bite your tongue.
No, I'm saying they do 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, things like that.
That's
So
even
you could
more
probably do
convenient.
that,
That's
yeah.
even more convenient.
Yeah, I can't do midnight shows anymore.
No, I'm old.
The last midnight show I did was Man of Steel, and I left.
That's too late for 9/11 imagery. You don't want to see that before bed. Come on now.
The next day I was just useless. I was like, yeah, I'm at that age, can't do midnight.
Well, that
anymore.
in the movie.
Yeah,
you know.
well, the movie. So yeah,
Rogue
yesterday, Rogue One final trailer came out.
Is this the final trailer?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
we'll probably have some TV spots.
I don't need anything else. I'm good.
Yeah, I think I've as
seen
well
enough.
Good. Thoughts on the trailer?
I love the trailer. Here's
Okay.
why. Aesthetically, my God, this movie looks amazing.
It's just great.
Gorgeous
looks
looking.
beautiful.
It looks. You know what it looks like? You know what it looks like?
What?
It looks like how the prequels should have looked. It's got the Star Wars aesthetic to a T, but yet it's familiar but completely different at the same time. I don't know how they did it, but it is both familiar yet all new. I can't even begin to describe how they did that. I don't know. But it looks like Star Wars, it feels like Star Wars, but the cinematography just looks so like I don't know. It looks rich, and the lighting looks more dynamic than the originals. But it's clearly the same art direction, but the cinematography is way better.
Well, I think the
It's
difference
just
is
like-
also budget.
Budget maybe, but it just looks. The eyes. It makes love to the eyes.
I think you're also another part of that is you're seeing locations that we have not previously seen in Star Wars movies.
Sure.
Beaches, tropical things like that. I don't as much. A lot of people have complained about the aesthetics of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, because they're garbage.
I don't have as much that complaint only because I recognize that as being like that universe's kind of golden age, so things are going to look
So
shiny and pretty.
things looked fake and cartoonish.
Well, I'm talking about the design of it, not
Yeah.
physical visual of it. But no,
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I'm getting at the visuals.
I loved the trailer. I think it showed just a hair too much. Because
Really?
there's a quick scene in it, I'm like, well, that character's clearly about to die.
Which don't tell
me.
that.
Yeah,
no,
I was
don't
about
tell
to say,
me.
do you want me to point? Well, see, here's the thing.
Here's the thing. I expect all of them to die.
Yeah, because I was about to say, we know what the outcome of the story is. So, in order to create dramatic tension, they have to establish that none of these characters are safe.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't want this to be the beginning of a whole new film series that they do. I want this to be a one-shot and done story.
I think that's exactly what it's going to be.
So yeah, but other than that, absolutely loved it. Love seeing that classic trilogy, like you were mentioning, aesthetic in action, classic stormtroopers, X-wings flying around.
That's the specifics. I just spent the one scene that really sticks out to me. That scene when she's in the jail cell and they're showing the bars have the rounded that
like that
it's-
Empire wall.
Yeah, but you see the stormtrooper walking outside. It just looks so.
Yeah, it looks really great.
It looks interesting. It's like they took all the ingredients, but they've mixed them in such a way that it looks totally new.
Yeah.
And it just blows your mind.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the Death Star look significantly bigger
No,
in this film than it did in the original?
I think we're just
Again,
getting-
we have a huge difference of budget. It just seems like it's so much bigger.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like the size of a small moon.
Okay, all right. That's no moon.
I know that. Yeah, it looks really cool, man. It just looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it. And even Vader, even though I'm all Vadered out, they even managed to make Vader kind of look,
I don't get how you can be Vadered out. I don't-
because the prequels ruined him.
no, they didn't. They didn't.
Dude, Vader died on the slab right there. His cool factor
Nope.
died. You know what brought it back, though? The Marvel series has brought him back.
Of course it has.
But no, he looks really cool in that trailer, in that one scene when he comes out of the fog or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's why it's really cool. I mean, number one, Vader's got a very striking silhouette, so obviously it looks cool. But
Yeah.
he's walking with purpose, like fast.
Yeah.
Vader don't move fast, so the fact that he is
No.
moving fast tells me that dude that he's going to see is he's in trouble.
Yeah, we got
It's going
some.
to end poorly for him.
We got some insight into the role that
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen plays in this. That he, I guess, has a key role in the design of the Death Star.
The weapon, the laser.
Yeah.
He built the 6-point laser that converges into one and then shoots.
Yep.
That's not physically possible, so I'm curious to see how they explain it.
Hey, it's called science fiction for a reason.
I hear you. It's all good. It's all good.
So, did you read before Marvel reacquired the license, back when it was still with Dark Horse? Did you read the Star Wars series?
No.
It was just titled Star Wars.
Oh, that one, the Brian Wood one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. With the Alex Ross covers.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
I really liked. It was a very small arc they did for like 3 issues. It was like the C story. Like you've got the A and B story going on. This is like the C story. Like Leia takes an X-wing and goes to
The ruins of
find a
Alderaan?
base. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
And then you've got like one of the old Republic, not old Republic, but Republic ships, the precursor to the Star Destroyers from the prequel, flying around in the asteroid field that was once Alderaan. And she gets brought on board, and there's like one guy living on it, and he is just like collecting all he can of like what's left of Alderaan's heritage.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it turns out he's the guy who designed the laser.
Ah,
I was like, wow,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Too bad it's not canon anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I mean, I like that series. I thought that was a pretty good series. I like what Marvel's doing now.
It was hit and miss. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
I had some issues with it, but no, it was good.
I like what Marvel's doing now.
Yeah.
The main Star Wars series is still entertaining.
Vader ended. I haven't read the final issue
Yeah,
yet.
it was,
but,
did you stay with it? Because I remember
yeah.
you weren't.
I'm behind, but I did stick with it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay.
I think the evil droids are the coolest thing.
Oh, God.
they are
A
amazing.
homicidal protocol droid.
Yes,
And
and a homicidal
an
R2.
astromech droid that's essentially War Machine.
Yeah,
I hope they need to get their own series.
they probably will.
I hope so. I would buy that in a heartbeat.
So yeah, that's December.
There's some other news that
Oh.
came out this week.
You're not happy.
Hey, Zack
Oh, go on,
Snyder. Can I talk to Zack Snyder, please?
bro. What's up, bro?
Hi, Zack.
It's gonna be so sick, bro.
Zack, I'm not sure if you understand how water works, but having a suit of armor makes it difficult to swim.
Bro, they're underwater people, bro. They know how to swim no matter what. So it doesn't matter. Bro. Sick. You're talking about the Mara costume,
Yeah,
right?
of course I'm referring to the image release. They released an image of Amber Heard as Queen Mara from the Justice League movie. And
I don't know. I didn't hate it that bad. It looks like it's not, honestly, it's pretty faithful.
It's not the worst looking thing they've done so far.
To be honest, I saw the picture and all I thought was like, oh, someone's doing a Mara cosplay.
Really?
That's all I really thought of it.
All right.
I to be honest, that's all I think about most of these costumes that I see now, especially in the DC side of things. Anyway, it's always like, oh, someone's cosplay. Oh wait, no, that's real. Oh,
ironically enough, someone posted a retouched up picture online without the color flush.
Yes, yeah, he loves to desaturate.
100% better, 100% better. Still armor, which I'm not crazy about, but.
Well, even the Flash has armor in this universe. Because when you think speed, you think of armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah.
So, that closes the case files.
That's it? Okay.
We got some comics to talk about.
Go on.
I know we're both going to talk about the current issue of Daredevil, but then we both also read... We have a diverse palette, I would say, between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get to Daredevil, what else did you read this week?
I read the newest issue of Saga. Great series, as I've been saying for a while, and it continues to be so.
Still the best series going monthly Comics Day?
It's one of them. Easily. Top 3, I think.
All right.
It ends up at the top of my read pile, like all everything else kind of gets pushed down. New issue of Saga. I read the newest issue of Paper Girls. Also great. Brian K. Vaughan, dude. I'll read all his stuff. I don't care. I read the newest issue of Lazarus by Greg Rucka. That series is really good. If you're not reading Lazarus, I really, really recommend it. It's good stuff. Greg Rucka and Michael Lark. Great comic book. Not Daredevil proper, but I read the second issue of the Daredevil Punisher crossover.
You're just at the second issue?
Yeah,
Dude, it's like 6 issues long. Ended 3 months ago.
I know. I'm going through the pile.
Okay.
I'm not enjoying that series. It's not very good. I'm sorry. It's not good. It's not good.
It was used to push season 2.
Oh, well.
So.
Yeah, a lot of tail wagging the dog there. Huh? Anyway.
If you're not liking it now, I would say just stop.
I have the issues. I might as well just get through them so we can maybe talk about it on the show when we get around to Daredevil Season 2. Maybe. We'll see. What else did I read this week? I already said Paper Girls. I already said Lazarus. I already said Saga. Doom Patrol number 2 came out.
I didn't know you were reading Doom Patrol.
Hell yeah, I'm reading Doom Patrol.
Okay.
I'm a Grant Morrison acolyte, man, even though he's not writing it.
I saw the announcement that DC was starting a new imprint.
Yeah, Young Animal.
Young Animal, and I saw it was being done by Gerard Way. And I instantly said, I'm like, oh, Drew's going to hate that.
Well, why? Because he's from My Chemical Romance or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about his band, but apparently
just like
comics work is good. Well, here's why I checked it out. Just a full disclosure.
All right.
I once heard an interview or read an interview that he gave with Grant Morrison. So, like, the two of them together. He's basically a Grant Morrison acolyte. Like, he grew up loving Grant Morrison stuff, and it's like Grant Morrison's like one of his biggest influences, and they're buddies. So when it's like, hey, this kid he's like 40 now. Anyway, this dude who really loves Grant Morrison is taking over the book that more or less made Grant Morrison famous. One of them, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna perk up and take interest.
Okay.
Especially when I saw the lineup of characters. It's got Robot Man. It's got Flex Mentallo. I was just like, all right, okay. You got my attention.
So how was it?
The first issue was maybe as expected, very weird.
Okay.
Almost off-puttingly though. So I was kind of on the fence. Like, okay, I'm
like he's trying too hard to do Morrison.
The thing is, he's not doing Morrison, but it's a very weird book.
Okay.
But the first issue was kind of like, all right, it's weird, and I expected that, but I'm really not sure if I like it just yet. Second issue comes around, now it's clicking. And I like it. It's good.
Right.
It's still weird, but things are kind of falling into place. So, like in the first issue, I'm not going to spoil too much, but in the first issue, you kind of get introduced to your new human grounded character, which is this ambulance driver woman, and she's like your kind of gateway. and then things around her start getting crazy.
She's the POV character.
She's the POV character, and then like Robot Man, Cliff.
Huxtable?
No, not Huxtable. I forgot his last name. I keep wanting to say Cliff Secord, but I know that's not right because he's the Rocketeer.
Cliff Burton?
No, not Cliff Burton. Unfortunately, no. But no, Robot Man, Cliff. He is in some like micro dimension, and he ends up getting kicked out of it somehow. This is really hard to explain. And he gets out into the real world, and he gets hit by a truck, and he's disassembled entirely. So the ambulance driver
disassembled Johnny Five.
Yeah, kind of. She picks up all his parts and takes them back to her apartment. It's very strange. Well, in the second issue, he's reassembled, and he becomes reactivated, and he's Cliff. And if you ever read Doom Patrol, Cliff is like he is the main protagonist, I would argue, of the entirety of Doom Patrol.
All right.
And even though he's a robot, he's a brain in a machine. He is like the most
like an organic brain.
He is an organic brain.
All right, so he's a cyborg. He's not a robot.
But his name is Robot Man. So
I don't care. He's a cyborg. His name should be Cyborg Man.
Well, that was kind of taken by a certain character in the Titans, my friend. So
called Cyborg,
exactly.
not Cyborg Man.
I'm just saying, dude. So, at the time of Robot, hang on, point of clarification.
I'm sorry, am I getting a little too Drew for you?
At the time of his creation in the 1960s, cyborg was probably not a hip term they tossed around back then. So Robot Man with a steam shovel jaw, that was probably as good as you were going to get, especially out of DC.
Well, yeah.
It's not like Stan Lee was writing this stuff. You take what you can get.
All right.
So anyway, Cliff has been reassembled, and he's Cliff. So the thing about Cliff is like he just has like this surly attitude. Like the situation can get as insane and weird as anything, and he never like gets intimidated by it. He just kind of like goes like, crap, and he goes to work. Like that's just his attitude. Like,
all right,
very grounded. And for a guy who's a robot brain and a metal body in a book about weird stuff, he is the most human character, and it's great. So far, 2 issues in, it's off to a good start.
Okay,
looking forward to more Doom Patrol. And then I read the new. I got caught up, I should say, on the current run of Daredevil.
Awesome, which we will get to momentarily.
Yes.
After I discuss a couple books I read this week. First, we'll start with the good, which was Reborn #1.
Mark Millar.
By Mr. Mark Millar and art by Greg Capullo. Who, as bad as the New 52 Batman run got after Death of the Family, Capullo's art's still great to look at.
Oh, yeah. That man can draw.
Yeah. He's good work.
Yes.
I always like Mark Millar stuff.
It's hit and miss for me, but it's more hit than miss.
Okay.
And the thing I like about the thing about Mark Millar, this is going to come across as a compliment, but also it can be seen as a negative. He never gets too heavy. It's just always really solid, readable work. I
noticed that he can hit the right emotional chord when he needs to. Like Starlight.
Yes.
Starlight
Agreed.
Was just...
Yeah, Starlight's a great book.
There were some moments in Starlight just rip your heart right.
Did you read Superior? Similar.
Yes.
Yeah, he knows how to get the heartstrings going. Mm-hmm. And, Huck. Did you read Huck?
No, I didn't read Huck. Read Huck?
Huck is good.
I will read Huck. Okay, so Reborn, issue #1. Again, he kind of knows how to hit the heartstrings.
Okay.
More or less, the story so far, just to kind of wrap it up in a nutshell. Old lady dies, wakes up in a different reality.
Whoa.
Like a more science fiction reality.
Does she remember her old life?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. All the people who have, a lot of the issues leading up, like she's talking about, she's old in that she's watched a lot of people that she's loved pass away. Like she's kind of like the last one holding on.
Okay.
Like her best friend's gone, her husband's gone, things like that. It's much more emotional than I'm portraying.
It's like the opening to Up.
Yeah. Yeah. Not completely unlike that. And then she has a stroke, and you think she's passing away, that they didn't, pronounce death so much. But as she's on the operating table, she wakes up. She's considerably younger, and she's in this outfit. And there's this ship hovering overhead, shines a light down on her. But then these other people show up and start to rescue her, and turns out one of them's her father, who's the memories that she's talking about in the beginning of the book, and one of the memories is, having fun with her father. So it's interesting.
Okay.
It looks solid, looks really good. Definitely gonna stay on for issue 2 and hopefully beyond. The second book I want to talk about.
Wow.
When you put the name All-Star in front of something, there is no middle ground, sir. You either get really, really good
Superman.
All-Star Superman, or you get really, really bad
Batman.
The original All-Star Batman, which breaks my heart, because if I was to tell you, hey, we're going to give you a Batman series written by Frank Miller,
well, my red flag would immediately go up,
with art by Jim Lee.
I hear you, but I would ask you, is it Frank Miller
Exactly.
from 1986, or is it Frank Miller now?
Is it pre-Dark Knight Strikes Again Frank Miller?
Right. Exactly.
Unfortunately, it was not, and that series was really, really terrible.
Yep. Disaster.
The new All-Star Batman is done by Scott Snyder,
who people seem to like. Most people, not us.
Here's what I equate Scott Snyder to.
Yeah,
he's that quarterback that started out with a couple really good games, but he's floundered kind of since then. But he's got talent, and when he's on, it's really good. But he just hasn't been on.
Okay,
that's kind of what I equate Scott Snyder to. And I thought after the first 2 issues of this that we were getting back to that Court of Owls, Death of the Family Scott Snyder, not Rest of Batman New 52 and last 2 issues of Wake Scott Snyder.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
because Wake,
I was waiting for it to stick the landing, and it didn't.
No. So
yeah, I feel you.
So All-Star Batman is kind of midnight run with Batman and Two-Face.
All right,
Batman's transporting Two-Face to a prison out of state. Two-Face makes an announcement that if no one rescues him, he's going to reveal everyone's secrets that he has. Yada yada.
Classic villain plot.
Yeah. So now everyone's kind of coming out of the woodwork trying to get at Batman and Two-Face. So Batman in the last issue gets in a really bad fight and gets jacked up.
Okay.
Essentially how I'm going to sum it up. And this issue, are you familiar with DC character KG Beast?
Didn't Batman kill him once?
He killed him in Batman v Superman. Like the character, not in costume, but the civilian.
No, I mean like in the comic, he left him to die in a locked room or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, that happened.
Anyway, KG Beast shows
80s.
up, jacks up Batman even more, jacks up Two-Face, throws a couple ninja stars into his face.
Oh.
Into the bad face.
I was going to say, okay.
So, Batman, here's where the story just kind of, if you can, listeners, for those of you who
he's gesturing downward with his hand.
Yes. So, Batman takes Two-Face to his Batcave that he apparently has in, Midwest America.
Well, he's Batman, of course.
Yeah. Well, he's got an intricate system of tunnels that take
across the country.
And he takes him to like a bunker where a character who has been dead for some time just happens to be there.
Who?
Do you remember the character Harold?
No.
Okay, so Harold was introduced during the Norm Brayfogle run of Batman back in like the late 90s. No, not late 90s. Say early 90s.
Okay.
Norm Brayfogle, I believe, created Scarface. Not 100% sure on that.
Like Al Pacino?
No, like, the ventriloquist with the
Oh,
dummy.
Right.
And so in the story called The Penguin Affair, this character, Harold, was introduced. He's like this disfigured humpback that's a mechanical genius.
He was having an affair with the penguin?
Well, it's just called The Penguin Affair. There was no sexual undertones.
Oh.
Did not happen. But the Penguin was using Harold for his nefarious plot, so on and so forth. And after it's all resolved, Batman is like, well, I can't. If I put you in the system, you're just going to get abused and so on and so forth. Would you like to come and help me and make equipment for me? They did all that.
Oh.
And Harold was kind of in and out throughout the run of Batman. Then we come to, I believe it was 2008, when Jim Lee took over the book and the Hush story started.
Yes.
And
very famous.
The great story, once again, didn't stick the landing, though.
Should have just been Jason Todd from the beginning.
It really should have been.
Yeah.
But it was Harold who was selling Hush all the information. And long story short, unfortunately, we're too late for that. Harold ended up getting killed at the end.
Okay.
Now, to my knowledge, he has not been resurrected in any way, shape, or form up until now.
But it's Rebirth.
I know.
But is it, though? It's All-Star. Is All-Star part of Rebirth?
I don't think so.
All-Star is not in continuity, right? It's outside?
I'm not sure.
It can't be.
I don't know.
Does it matter? Do we care?
And apparently Harold now is also a medical genius because he's working on Two-Face.
Why not?
So there's that. And then Batman has kind of a new sidekick, but he's not like training him to be Robin. He's like, I'm going to try something different with this one. So he doesn't, like, he's got an outfit, but he doesn't necessarily have like a code name so much.
What does he call him?
I can't, oh, jeez. Hold on a second. I got to grab in the book. His outfit isn't horrible. He's not like a Robin.
He's Batman's sidekick, right?
Yeah.
He's Robin.
No, but he's not Robin.
His
name's Duke.
Okay. Does he have a costume adventurer name?
Not yet. No, he doesn't have a code name yet.
Oh, well, you might want to have that before you go running out in a costume.
So,
got to call you something.
Duke asks Bruce.
Does he know he's Bruce?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Duke asks Bruce why it's so important to save Harvey. And
Harvey? Oh, Two-Face. Yeah, okay. Sorry, Harold.
There's his costume, the corner panel.
He's got bats on it, but he's not. Whatever. I don't know. Go on.
Yeah. And here's where we get Snydered. Because
do we get a soliloquy about the origins of Batman's coat?
Nope, not the coat. Just like the origins of
that was really important in the Snyder Batman run. That we got a whole issue about Jim Gordon's freaking coat.
Yeah, we don't get a soliloquy about Batman's coat. We get a soliloquy about the origin of Bruce and Harvey's friendship.
Okay, that's fair. But it's not fair. You're shaking your head. Why? Why is that no good?
So Bruce starts telling the tale about when he was a kid, shortly after his parents died. He was obsessed with killing the guy who killed his parents.
Okay.
Like he hadn't, made the oath to justice and whatnot. And one day Alfred finds him playing with a gun.
Okay.
Like learning how to use the gun, practicing with the gun.
Okay.
Alfred, worried over Bruce's mental state, takes him to what is essentially Arkham's home for wayward boys.
What the hell? Okay.
Gets better.
Go on.
In which he meets Harvey Dent.
Of course he does. Oh, see, everything has to fit together. Scott Snyder said so. It's all together.
They've got these shirts on. One has 2A and one has 2B.
Subtle.
You know what?
Subtle. Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah.
Do I really need to go on any further?
No. Yeah. You've talked me out of it already.
Yeah.
Dude.
So that was disappointing.
See.
I'm giving it one more issue.
I feel you. Can I make a plea to universe creators out there? Star Wars, comics. Everything doesn't have to fit together.
Nope.
It's a big world out there.
Yep.
Coincidences happen.
Yep.
And honestly, there's more fertile ground for stories if everything doesn't fit together.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you don't have to be booked into a corner about, well, wait a minute, you said these guys were related and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only people I like, sorry.
I know. No, I get it.
It bothers me because they did that in year zero. Everything had an origin. Everything fit together. Yeah. Even Court of Owls is like pushing it for me, but it was well done, so I don't mind. You know?
Yeah. So, all right, let's pivot to... Let's pivot to our favorite hero, the hero that the show is named after.
After 45 minutes, let's talk about Daredevil.
Mr. Murdoch. Latest issue of Daredevil out.
Yes,
done by
it is.
Done by Mr. Charles Soule and Mr. Ron Garney.
No, we're kind of mid arc right now, right?
Yeah.
This is part 3 of a story.
Yeah, this is issue number 12. And
It's like Blood Art Part 3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's he's dealing with what he believes is an inhuman that can manipulate in a way artwork. I mean, it's interesting. Let's be honest. Creating comic book villains, good villains, is not easy to do.
No. I'm not groaning at that. I'm groaning at the. Here's why I'm groaning. Marvel.
I only have one groan about this issue. I think we might have the same groan, but go ahead.
It's just, look. I know you want it to happen.
Yep, we got the same groan.
I know you want it to happen, and I know you're going to try to make it happen.
You're giving him a push,
but
you're giving him such a hard push.
Look, man, Marvel, you got to take Marvel, WWE, it's the same thing. You're trying to make something happen, and people just ain't buying it. Roman Reigns in WWE, he ain't getting over. Stop pushing him. Stop trying to make us like him. We don't. Marvel, no one cares about the Inhumans.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make them a thing. We don't care. Just make the X-Men again.
Yeah, I can see their logic. I can see we're trying to kind of bring the cinematic universe and the comic universe kind of closer together to make a transition from one to the other easier.
They're only doing that because they can't control the X-Men. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah. So they're pushing the Inhumans, who are just not as interesting as the X-Men.
They're not interesting at all. I'm sorry.
In order to push the Inhumans, a race of which there was a sincerely limited number of previously, they have this big event that multiplies the
cloud or whatever, right?
Yeah,
everyone breathes it in.
Cloud.
So now they're all over the world. They're popping up, kind of like mutants being born.
Even on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're dialing it back.
Well, because I think the movie got pushed back as well.
Well, yeah, the movie didn't get pushed back. It just got
dropped.
It's still finger quotes on the slate.
Yeah.
But there's no date assigned to it.
Yeah. Well, because maybe Kevin Feige realized, wait, nobody cares.
Yeah.
I mean, in a supporting role, and when I say supporting role, I mean like they show up once every 6 to 8 months, maybe in the Fantastic Four. That kind of supporting role.
I would even go so far as say you can give them their own book.
Okay.
You could give them a monthly book. I think there's enough fans out there for the Inhumans.
Sure.
To support a monthly book. But the way they're just trying to force them into every aspect of the Marvel universe to make it a thing now, like you said.
Yeah.
It's not working. And even though I think this is a solid issue of Daredevil, I
can't escape the Inhuman thing. It's just too heavy for me.
Yeah. You know what's funny is because I was reading, remember those like 2 old issues of Daredevil I picked up, the Acts of Vengeance? When he has to fight Ultron.
Yes.
The Inhumans are in that too.
Really?
So I guess Daredevil has some history with the Inhumans.
He's got history with everybody.
And in this issue, like, he comes to, greet Medusa, and she knows who he is, but I don't know. I like this. I like this current run of Daredevil.
Okay.
Charles Soule has always been a solid writer.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Ron Garney's art. It's a good, like, kind of pulp style to it.
Yeah.
That I think fits Daredevil well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it seems like this kind of sidetracked the story they were trying to tell. Like, I think if you just stick to this villain that's killing people using. If you said, here's
I totally agree.
Here's Inhuman. He happens to be Inhuman. These are his powers. If you just make that the tie-in, but then like you have this whole thing of Daredevil going to, how's it pronounced?
Atalan or whatever.
Atalan,
yeah,
like the
Attilan. I don't know.
Floating kingdom outside New York City.
Now it's in New York City because it used to be on the moon, and now
So it's like I'm saying, it's not a bad issue.
I feel you.
I think if they dialed it back a little bit, it would have been a lot better. I think in this situation, less would have been more.
Yes.
I love the fight between Daredevil and what's his name? The one Inhuman who can like instantly solve any problem and then figures out that Matt is blind.
Karnak, yeah.
Yeah, but then Matt still beats him.
Yep.
Because, Matt kicks all that ass.
Yeah, of course.
So that was great. I mean, the action in the issue's good. I just dial it back a little bit.
I totally agree. I don't need this Inhuman stuff. It just feels like a diversion. It feels like editorial is just like, this issue's good, but nope. Needs about 30% more Inhumans.
Yeah, this probably wasn't in Soulays or Garnies.
We don't know. We don't know that.
Yeah.
But it's the Poochie situation. When he's not on screen, everyone should be asking, "Where's Poochie?"
So, quick aside before we wrap this up. The current director of S.H.I.E.L.D. on the television show.
I don't know who it is.
He's Inhuman, but he's a former Captain America. The character is former Captain America.
Okay.
I did. Oh God, what's the character's name?
I don't know.
I wanted to ask you about this. I was curious because Cap is your second favorite Marvel character.
The only other one I know of was the Cap in the 50s. He didn't have any powers. He was kind of just more symbolic. And then he eventually went nuts, and I think he's dead now. But I did not know that he was an Inhuman, so that might be a change that they made for the show.
Give me a second. I'm getting there.
Okay. So,
right.
Go on.
Derp. IMDb.
This is what Googling sounds like, kids.
Jeffrey Mace.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
All right. Yeah,
So,
that's the characters.
if it were Steve Walker, I'd be like, oh, yeah, U.S. agent. But guess it's not U.S. agent.
Never liked that costume.
For U.S. agent, it's fine. But ironically, it wasn't his costume first. It was Cap's first when Cap pronounced the Captain America moniker, and he went on his own, and he... but then they swapped.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It still doesn't make it a good costume.
I like it. But as an alternate, it's fun.
You can select it in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Okay.
But you can also,
I wouldn't, but you can.
You can also select the probably my favorite Cap redesign costume, the Super Soldier costume.
The Super Soldier costume.
Where it's just like the star with the wings. It kind of looks like the Air Force emblem on the shirt. And he's just wearing like standard military pants.
I don't know if I saw that one.
No cowl. It was when the Heroes Age. When Rogers took over S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Bucky
right.
was being Cap.
Yeah,
so
that
Steve
was okay.
was just like Super Soldier. I just like it. I think it's really clean, really nice costume.
They took some influence from it when in Winter Soldier, the movie. With
Yeah,
the gloves
Yeah,
and like the boots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much that, just without the mask, the cowl.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was a really sweet redesign.
But
And
back to Daredevil. No.
Yes. So yeah,
Are we back on Daredevil?
no, we're
done.
Wrapped up
We're
that
done.
review. You guys are probably asking, okay, when are you gonna get to Daredevil season 2?
We'll get there.
We will get there, but we've got a long runway to go, folks. You got to understand, Daredevil season 3 is not coming until 2018,
So we're kind of...
and we got a whole lot of good stuff in the middle. We got us some Luke Cage, we got some Iron Fist, we got some Defenders. So we will eventually get back to Daredevil when we get to Defenders. We will do season 2 of Daredevil before we get to Defenders.
Okay.
But the way it's looking right now is we're going to start this week. We're going to get Uncaged.
Ooh.
We're going to start an episode-by-episode breakdown of Luke Cage. And then that will pretty much bring us to Iron Fist when Iron Fist is released. So we will go into Iron Fist. We'll take a couple episode.
We'll get Iron
break.
Fisted.
Yep. Oh, sir.
Hey.
We'll take a couple episode break, do some fun one-offs like we did when we ended Daredevil season 1. Then we'll go into Iron Fist. And then that, depending on where that brings us, by then I'm sure we'll find out when Defenders is coming out. If we have enough runway to fit Daredevil season 2 in before we get to Defenders, we're probably going to have to do that just as a lead up to Defenders.
All right. Whatever you want to do.
So, all right. So
if you don't like any of this, dear listeners, you know who to email.
that being said, it is time to rustle the papers. As we're
getting Uncaged, man.
We are getting Uncaged. Drew, let's
Topical.
break down
It's topical.
episode
People
1.
like Luke Cage, and he's new, and it's exciting, and
Yes.
the show has gotten good reviews, and I'm enjoying it as well. I'm not done with it, so please bite your tongue
All
on
right.
certain
Where
spoilers.
are you?
Well, without spoiling the listeners either, I am, I think 6 or 7 episodes in.
What's the last thing that happened?
Well, I'm going to gesture, and I don't want to... Again, I'm trying not to spoil things for anybody. Cottonmouth.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
There you go.
Good. We know where we're at.
Okay.
Okay, so episode 1, Luke Cage.
Yes.
You know what Netflix does really well with these shows? Jessica Jones and Daredevil and Luke Cage.
What's that?
We've discussed this before, but it bears repeating again. The intro.
Yes.
The intros are always just visually stunning, solid, kind of a lost art. And we get I mean, Luke Cage does not disappoint. The intro, the whole series is a love letter to Harlem.
Well, my notes, I like how they use the yellow, because Luke Cage, yellow.
Yeah.
You know.
Daredevil has a very red tone to it. Jessica Jones had a very purple tone to it, and Luke Cage has a yellow tone to it. They have a color palette that they use very well that you notice, but it's not distracting. As
I have noted here, that song though.
Oh God, the music. The music in and of itself is a character in the show.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
And this is probably the best music in a Marvel piece since Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's in the way that it's used, yeah. I mean, I can't even think of another example of the way, like, non-score, like actual, I want to say pop music, but you know what I mean, like,
yeah,
music by actual artists is used in Marvel flicks. Outside of Guardians, they really don't do that.
Yeah,
but here they do.
Yeah, they definitely do. Which again just reinforces my disappointment over the soundtrack.
Well,
I want all the good stuff. I want the good stuff and the good stuff.
They probably would have had to pay for the good stuff, and therefore they weren't going to do that.
I'm sure they had to pay for it to use it in the show.
But that's different than releasing it on its own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then everybody makes money.
Yeah, but Marvel would have to have paid up front to get the rights to distribute it.
Gotcha.
And, yeah.
All right. I mean,
for the same reason why
you being in the music business yourself know more about this than I do.
Similarly, like on the WWE Network, for instance, any instance of real music being used in the past, they scrub it and they put in generic music over it because they probably don't have the license anymore. So when I'm watching old ECW, unfortunately, all the amazingly awesome '90s metal and alternative songs that all the guys used, can't use them, so they insert the worst generic crap stuff you've ever heard. Sandman, for God's sake, comes out to enter Sandman. It's part of his gimmick. He comes out to enter Sandman. He comes in through the crowd. The crowd sings the damn song. It's epic as hell, even though he's a garbage wrestler. His entrance alone makes you pay money to go see him. You can't even... Nope, completely scrubbed on the network.
Really? You like an entrance that uses Metallica?
I know. Shocking, right? Shocking.
Okay, so we met Luke Cage in the Jessica Jones series. I think they used him very well in that series.
They did.
That series we will probably not get to until after Defenders.
Okay, I'll trust you on the timing. We'll see what kind of timelines we got.
So
I feel bad leaving Jess on an island over there, but that's okay. We'll get back to her.
So we meet Luke again in Pops
Barbershop.
Barbershop. He's sweeping up hair, and he's very content where he is.
He's laying low.
For the most part. He's laying low.
And we find out that Pops has a very strict no profanity policy.
Yes.
And if you swear, you got to put money in the swear jar.
Exactly.
And Luke Cage remarks, "I don't curse."
Yep. And I like that. I like that about the character.
It's a man of principle.
Yeah. And later on in this episode, we're going to get to a point where that line is kind of fuzzy again that you talked about last week, as far as what is allowed, what is not allowed.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit a point in this episode where we're like, so yeah. But we get the classic
barbershop banter, man.
Yeah, barbershop banter. There are gonna be folks. I'm not gonna lie to you. When we're breaking down this, there are going to be times where we're going to have to like pause and make sure we're not saying something offensive. It is not our intention to be offensive. I think if any of you who heard last week's episode, which I'm very proud of, you know it's not our intention to be offensive. So, but there are going to be times where we may have to pause a moment to think about how to say something in a way it's not offensive.
Sure.
That's just my disclaimer. Hashtag I'm white.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll fly. I'm pilot.
Could that be a hashtag?
Hashtag I'll fly. I'm pilot.
I want that to be a thing. I really do. All right.
Okay, so we also see that Pop has a specific list of people who never have to pay for a haircut.
Yeah.
I didn't get all the names that were on this list.
I should have paused it, but
I know it's Al Pacino.
Al Pacino's on it.
Pat
Riley's on it. That's all I got.
Sinatra?
I think Sinatra is on it.
Sinatra might have been on it.
Yeah.
So I really like the atmosphere of this shop. And I know there are shops like this all over the country.
Sure.
I love this atmosphere. This family atmosphere.
It is very familial.
Yeah. Family, not family. You got the chessboard going.
Sure.
Which, later on in the show, we have a familiar face at that chessboard.
Yeah, no, it's a place, obviously, that has great the people that are in there know each other. There's a great camaraderie in this place. It's clearly a place where people go where they feel safe.
Yeah. And the current discussion is focused around the current state of the NBA as far as, like, you know, superstars joining up on super teams.
Which Luke Cage remarks that it's garbage.
Yeah.
Except LeBron. He's the truth.
Luke Cage stealing my line.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you know what? I'm going to be like Shamik. I might step up to him, but I'm going to step down real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah. Shamik got put down without much of a fuss. I have noted here that it's fun. It's great. You know, we kind of meet Pop and all these supporting characters, and then Lonnie's mama come in.
Yep.
Sup, Lonnie's mama? So she wants a piece of that cage.
She wants to get in the cage.
Whoa.
She wants a cage match.
Yes, I like that. She wants a cage match. I like it. I like it a lot.
And we are introduced to a phrase that I believe will replace "Do you want to Netflix and chill?"
Oh, coffee? In fact, I think I've seen that on the internets already. Yeah.
Do you want to get some coffee?
Uh-huh. But see, even that, though, it's Luke Cage, but if the writers are real smart, and I think they are, it's also Seinfeld, which I love.
That's going to cause some problems out in the real world. Because you know what?
It is.
Some guys are just going to want a cup of coffee.
That's all I want, but now it's got a whole new context. But it's like
now it's going to be like if you want to ask a girl to do a cup of coffee, because you know what, that was Julie and mine's first date. We met up for a cup of coffee.
I can never.
Now it's going to be like, would you like to meet at a public location to consume hot caffeinated beverages, in which at no point would sexual intercourse be implied?
Sure.
That's how you're going to have to ask for coffee now.
It's like George when.
Dang it, Luke!
Do you want to come up for some coffee? And George says, "No, I don't drink coffee. It keeps me up." And then he gets really embarrassed, and he calls her answering machine, and he's like, "I didn't understand that coffee didn't really mean cough." And he makes a total ass of himself, and then they have a whole scheme to get back into her apartment to steal the tape on her answering machine before she can realize that he left a message. It's a great episode, by the way. But George's self-loathing is just fantastic.
I never watched Seinfeld.
Oh, man.
Listen, I've said before, I say it again. I'm not perfect. I'm just good looking.
I'm not disputing that.
All right. So, yeah, Luke doesn't drink coffee. Luke's not interested. Luke knows what she wants.
Yeah.
He's not interested.
And Shamik? Was it Shamik? Shamik.
Yeah.
He can't believe that
he doesn't get it.
Doesn't get it. And as the gentleman playing chess remarks, you'll learn, young man. Either got it or you don't.
The wisdom is on point.
And then we get the little scene in the bed. Well, Luke is always thinking of Reva.
Yeah, Reva always.
His girl. He's lifting stuff.
Yeah.
Lifts up the washing machine.
And Pop loves it.
Of course. Pop's giving him all the encouragement to, like, do something. Be a hero. Go use your gifts.
We have our first of many Easter eggs in this film. Pop calling him Power Man.
Power Man.
For those of you who don't know,
that was his OG name.
Yeah. You know what? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm slacking.
You're slacking. What are you doing?
Slacking. We're introducing a new comic character.
Okay.
Which means we need to get some comic background.
Are we going to give a little brief background on Luke Cage?
Yeah.
The titular character?
Luke Cage, also known as Power Man, is a fictional superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Luke Cage first appeared in Luke Cage Hero for Hire. Keep in mind of that title, folks.
Yep.
That's going to come into play later in this episode. Luke Cage Hero for Hire #1, June of 1972. And was created by Archie Goodwin, John Romita Sr., and George Tuska.
And as we said last week with our show with Alan, in the 70s, Marvel was basically whatever was hot in the moment, Marvel was on top of it. So, like, monster comics, sure. Kung Fu comics, Bruce Lee was the man. Sure, we'll do Kung Fu comics.
Yeah,
Blaxploitation. Okay, here's Luke Cage.
Yep.
More or less.
It was, they were, I think that they were capitalizing on trends, but also you could tell that they saw it more as an opportunity to tell more diverse stories and not
totally
just to capitalize it for, cash purposes.
Sure. Marvel's always been about the world outside your window.
Yeah. Well, used to.
Nowadays, not so much, it feels like, anyway, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyway.
Actually, you know what? quick aside.
Yes.
On our show last week, we were discussing comics history, social justice issues, things like that. We said that Marvel's not doing it.
Get some response on that?
No, not so much from the viewers, but I read Champions issue number 1.
Okay.
And they address police brutality in that issue.
Okay.
So, first off, awesome issue. I'd recommend you pick it up.
All right.
Second off, kudos to Marvel for kind of stepping up to the plate a little bit.
Okay.
So, yeah, Pops makes Power Man reference. He's pushing Luke to do something with his powers, refers to them as gifts. Says you're wasting your gifts.
But mind you, Luke is laying low for reasons.
Yes.
Valid reasons.
Valid reasons, which we will get into in later episodes.
Yep.
But we come to the mantra of the show.
Yes, I have it in quotes as well.
Forward always.
Never backwards.
Never backwards.
Forward always.
Always forward. Which is a great saying.
Sure.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
So after that, it's nighttime now. Luke is taking out trash. Bumps into Chico.
His boy Chico.
Who is
one of the gentlemen from
one of the barbers.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Chico was cutting Shamik's hair in the shop.
Okay.
Chico drops a gun.
Yep.
Chico up to no good.
No.
Luke recognizes it, and Chico's like, you ain't my dad.
Yep.
I haven't had one for a while, so don't try and be him. Then just goes away.
Yep. Now Luke has to go to his other job.
Yes.
But on his way there, he passes a street vendor. And this gentleman has DVDs and Blu-rays for sale, as you might expect in New York City. I've seen this phenomenon. Yeah. But he's not selling you, the latest fan-filmed theater taping of a movie.
Yep.
He's selling The Incident.
Yes.
Best angles on Blu-ray.
HD quality. 1080p.
Yeah. So this, right when I was thinking, these shows are great, but the lines are blurry, Luke Cage kind of reaffirms, like, no, it's all here.
This series more than Daredevil or Jessica Jones, I would say,
so
ties into the cinematic universe.
If for nothing else, other than the specifics of this guy's references.
Yeah,
like he says, Tony Stark, the blonde dude with the hammer, the Jolly Green Giant, or whatever he calls Hulk, I forgot. But
green guy.
Yeah,
but no, like
very specifically mentions the Avengers.
As we see later in this episode and in later episodes, there's a whole lot of tie-in to the cinematic universe proper.
Even in this episode, there's another one coming up.
Yeah. So, can I just say, I love the name Genghis Khanis.
Oh, it's
so great.
It's play on words.
It's fantastic. Luke runs into his landlord, Connie, who needs dat rent.
Yep, rent is late, man.
Yep.
He's got to get Luke's got to get paid in cash. He's not on the books. Nope. So he's got to go to his other job to get paid to pay his rent.
Yep. Connie's a little lenient, but gives him a deadline.
Tonight.
Yes. Genghis Khanis.
So Luke is a dishwasher.
Yes. We come to and we meet Harlem's Paradise. Which, again, as we stated with music in the show, Harlem's Paradise is a character in the show.
A little bit, yeah.
It's such a great setting.
Sure.
Like, you look at this club like, I would want to go to this club. This looks like a lot of fun.
They might not let us in that club, but I'd like to go to the club.
Well, we can make an attempt. And we meet also the master of Harlem's Paradise.
Yeah.
Mr. Cornell Cottonmouth. And he hates that name.
Yes, he does.
And, as we're meeting a new character, in the comics.
Okay.
Cottonmouth appeared in Marvel Comics, created by Len Wein and artist George Tuska. The character first appeared in Power Man 18, June 1974.
There you go.
Now,
but we also meet Black Mariah.
Yes.
Now the comic book Black Mariah, very different than
both Cottonmouth and Black Mariah drastically changed from the comic books. Cottonmouth is an elderly gentleman in the comic books. Black Mariah,
she's a
whole lot of woman in the comic books. Whole lot of woman.
Yeah.
She is a whole lot of woman who looks like she ate a whole lot of woman.
Yes, in the comics.
Yeah, she's like gargantuanly huge, very thuggish, not the character we see here.
No.
So we meet Black Mariah, who is definitely one of the highlights of the series, portrayed amazingly by Alfre Woodard, who's got a little bit geek cred in and of herself. She also appeared in Star Trek First Contact.
That's right.
But the
Picard was getting sweet on that.
She had to remind Picard, he's being a little Captain Ahab. About
A little bit,
Borg.
but she never read it.
Yeah, she never read it.
But she grew up in a war-torn time.
She did.
I understand.
We forget. As far as Black Mariah in the comics, like we said, very large person. She was created by Billy Graham, George Tuska, and Steve Englehart. She first appeared in Luke Cage Hero for Hire number 5, January 1973. So did he have 2 different series then? Because we have Luke Cage's first appearance and Black Mariah's first appearance in Luke Cage Hero for Hire, and then we have Cottonmouth's first appearances in Power Man number 18.
They might have retitled it. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm actually not entirely sure.
All right. So, okay. But yeah, Luke has a second job. He is a dishwasher in Harlem's Paradise. Now, we quickly get to establish that Cottonmouth and Black Mariah are related.
They're cousins.
And we quickly establish that Mariah is a councilwoman, politician.
She is a city councilwoman.
And she is kind of getting fed by Cottonmouth's activities.
Well, it's
financially
symbiotic,
fed.
actually.
Yeah, they're kind of scratching each other's back. Almost.
Yes, because she has given him, as we find out later, federal money for the club.
Yes.
And she wants that money back.
Yep.
So these are all the dynamics that are going on in the show.
And his dealings are funding her restoration of the attics, Christmas attics
building center or whatever it is. It's a central point in the show, basically.
Yeah. I think at this point when we meet Mariah, she is kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out as far as criminal life goes.
And she even tells Cottonmouth, you got to stop at all this, and just politics is where the real power is. And he kind of remarks what I do pays you, so who are you to tell me that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Luke is working dishes, and then the manager comes back, tells him that, what's the guy's name? Dante. Dante called in sick.
Yep.
Which we see a little bit later isn't true.
Yep.
And they need someone to work the bar.
Luke gets a little upgrade, a little promotion for a night. Yeah. Now, when they cut back, I have a point. So I'm gonna tread real light here. But when we're talking to Cottonmouth and Mariah, at this point in the show, this is when the language begins to show itself, and I know pretty much right then what kind of show it's going to be. We get N-bombs getting tossed around very casually on this show. I was not prepared for that. I'm glad they didn't shy away from it, to be honest with you, because that's a hard thing to dodge in a show that is being celebrated for its blackness.
Yes.
So, but I was just taken aback, whoa, because this is Marvel. This is still Marvel.
Still Marvel.
So I was kind of okay, they're kind of letting it go. This is how it's going to go. Cool. I don't like having my hand held. So the fact that they're being real about it, I like. However, I will note, and this is just going to become a kind of a trend in my thoughts on the show. That's okay, but not a single F-bomb is dropped in this series.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not advocating profanity for the sake of it, but I'm saying in the world they're presenting, man, it's a very odd line to draw, especially given other things that happen in this series.
Yeah.
The violence, the gore, and the ladies. And
It's a lady.
Yeah.
Got my fine Kavathi here.
Dare I say, this is the sexiest show Marvel has put out yet.
There were sex scenes in Jessica Jones, but everything was kind of happening underneath the sheets.
Yeah, well, no, not so much here.
Whereas with this one...
I should point out, though, that you don't see anything... it's well scouted in this show.
The shadows are in the right place.
But it's still skin heavy.
Yeah. It's by no means a hardcore scene. It's just definitely much more intense that Marvel has done up to this point.
Right. So given all that, I guess I'm just saying I'm a little... The absence of the F word becomes kind of the white elephant in the room. Hey, man.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
It's just a weird line to draw. That's all I'm saying.
I think we're just kind of at a point just going to have to come to expect that line.
Yeah, I feel it.
Regardless of where it falls, we know there's going to be a line somewhere. I think they pushed the line a little bit in this series that, as compared to what they've done in Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Yeah, like I
but
said,
the
I
line's
was
still clearly defined.
I guess it is. Yeah. Don't fear the F-bomb, Marvel. It's okay. We're all adults here.
Yeah. So Luke Cage is tending bar, and we meet another character that we have a little bit of comic background on.
Misty Knight.
Misty Knight.
And I knew it was her because of her hair.
Yeah. Defined hair. They carried that over from the comics.
I knew it was Misty.
Misty Knight was first mentioned
Go on.
in Marvel Premiere number 20, January 1975. She was created by writer Tony Isabella and artist Avril Jones. A later retcon. You want to give a quick explanation as to what retconning
A
is?
retcon, folks, is short for retroactive continuity. What that means is when they retcon something, that means something that was previously established, they ignore entirely and replace it.
Dynamite dropping.
Sometimes with an explanation, sometimes with none at all.
Yep. Later retcon in Marvel Team Up number 64, she was kind of reinvented, a retcon by Chris Claremont and John Byrne, two legends in the comic industry. She revealed she had previously appeared as an unnamed character in Marvel Team Up number 1 in 1972, written by Roy Thomas and penciled by Ross Andrew. Comics in which Christy Knight and Colleen Wigg have appeared in often.
All right. Boom.
I think
Misty Knight.
Yeah. That takes care of all our...
In this episode, yes.
Yeah, all our comic appearances. So...
Now, okay. So, again, keeping up with everything here, Misty meets Luke. Luke meets Misty at the bar.
Yep.
She's kind of scouting things out. We don't know what she's up to, but she's eyeing up Cottonmouth up in his little suite there.
Up in his, VIP room.
And while we cut back up to there, we find out that, number one, Mariah's family has a legacy, not necessarily a good one.
Yes.
We don't get much information, but it's established that the family name is not very good in the neighborhood. She's a councilwoman, so obviously it's good enough to get her elected, so I don't know how much the public knows about it.
I don't think it's so much that the name isn't good, it's just that it's known. And it's known for,
possibly nefarious things.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, we also get some information on Cottonmouth's dealings. He is selling guns to Domingo.
Yes.
Who's a character, and by the way, he's a character actor that I've seen in a million things. I recognize him, but I don't know his name, but you'll know him when you see him, trust me.
And this is normally not the type of character that he plays either.
No?
He's kind of more the quiet sidekicky type.
Okay.
He hasn't really played like this boss character before.
He gets a little more front street this time.
But Drew,
tell
me what's interesting about the guns.
They're made by Hammer Industries, who you might remember from the black sheep of the Iron Man franchise, Iron Man 2.
Which I still to this day disagree.
I agree with you. I don't get it.
Iron Man 2 is solid.
I don't know what people. I think people were just they wanted. Never mind.
Yeah.
Justin Hammer, played by Sam Rockwell, Hammer Industries.
Another great connection to the cinematic universe.
Yep.
Kind of bringing them back.
Bringing it all together. So, the gun deal, as we find out, as they're talking about what they're doing, it goes bad.
Yeah, goes south. A couple guys show up, try to hijack not only the guns, but the payment as well.
Yeah.
We get a great shootout scene that's set to really good music, good slow motion stuff, music that you wouldn't necessarily fit to a shootout scene, but it's like they're
intercutting with the club,
with the music being played at Harlem Paradise. Really like this scene, and we find out that it's Shameik and Chico
and Dante. Yeah. Now, we cut back, of course, to Misty and Luke.
Yes.
Now, she's eyeing up Cottonmouth, and Luke remarks, "You're a little old for Cottonmouth." Dude!
The whole dialogue between Misty and Luke in this scene, in this episode, is just Luke throwing shade at Misty.
Yes. And
but
she's
then, reeling it back.
Well,
throwing shade, reeling it back.
She kind of remarks to him well, spring chicken yourself there, boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, why they gotta harp on Misty's age, man?
But then he's like, whoa, wait a second. Little boys like girls.
Yeah.
I ponder myself a woman.
Uh-huh.
Love that line. I ponder myself.
You should use that line.
On my wife?
Sure.
That's the only person I can use that line
yes.
on. That's it.
I'll be not. Don't hold me responsible.
Yeah. We also learned that Cornell hates the name Cottonmouth.
He does.
Which I don't understand why. It's a pretty badass name. Even though I hate snakes.
Well, that and the there's another connotation to it, which maybe is more
right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense now. I get you.
Yeah, for the uninitiated.
If you're, folks, if you're uninitiated to that reference, stop listening to the show. Go up, pick up a history book, and start reading.
Or contact a drug dealer, and you'll find out. Anyway, yeah. So the deal goes bad, and Luke is requested to go upstairs to Cottonmouth and deliver a whole bunch of. Well, one of the
6
waitresses says she doesn't want to go
Ace
up
of
alone.
Spades.
Yes, she doesn't want to go up alone. She gets skeeved out, so Luke goes up to help. And Cottonmouth notices Luke's rather large stature.
Yeah, and the fact that he's carrying a giant metal ice bucket full of ice and 6 bottles of alcohol with little to no effort whatsoever. Cottonmouth knows his stature. Mariah notices everything else.
Yeah, well.
And she's kind of like, hey.
Have you seen Luke? I mean,
you know what? I cannot fault her. This is a fine-looking man, that Mr. Luke Cage.
Wait till that suit episode happens. Anyway, Cottonmouth offers him a job, more or less.
Yep.
Like, hey, Muscle, you ever hold a gun? You want to work for me? And Luke says, no.
I'm good.
Nope. I want none of that. Good on Luke.
Yep.
So the night at the club ends, and Misty's, about to call an Uber home, and Luke is, what's up, girl?
Want to get some coffee?
Yeah, coffee again.
Coffee happens.
Except this time, coffee doesn't mean coffee, George.
Yeah. Coffee means
sexy
coffee.
Time.
So yeah, we have that whole scene. We just discussed it. So
sexy time.
Yep.
Like lingering sexy time.
Yeah, and then we get a little more extended. Then we get the not even the morning after, night of. Misty gets called and she has to leave.
Now, she has not told Mr. Cage what she does.
No.
She says that she is an auditor.
Yeah.
So, we'll let that lie.
Yep.
But Luke is having a prison nightmare, we should point out.
Yeah, just really quick. Why would Misty need to lie to Luke as to what she is? No, never mind. Just answer my own question.
She doesn't know who Luke is, necessarily.
Well, yeah, but he works in Harlem's Paradise, so she
don't want to.
Okay, no, I answered my question the moment I asked.
Can't let that out.
So, yeah.
Now, Luke is awoken in the middle of the night by a prison nightmare.
Yes.
So we get some little background on Luke
getting
here.
His ass beaten that nightmare.
Right.
Misty says he talks in his sleep. Says shades.
Shades. Sure. Now Misty's got to go.
Yeah.
Luke's like, yo, let me get your number. She's like, nah. Oh, cold.
Just is Iceman in this show?
Yeah.
Did Bobby Drake just show up?
Yeah,
freeze up the room?
Stone cold. But she knows where he works. So if she wants to see, if she wants to go back in the cage, she knows where to find him.
It's like, you know what it reminded me of? That scene. Remember the movie Boomerang?
No.
Eddie Murphy?
I know the one. I don't remember seeing it, though.
There's a scene where he's just sitting dejected on the bed, and as a girl leaves, he's like, call me. Luke.
But what I do note here is that Luke is smooth.
Luke is...
He remarks to her, you would stand out in any room you're in.
Damn. I'd jump his bones right there.
Try that line later, too. Anyway.
So we cut to the crime scene. And we find out that Misty Knight is actually Detective
Misty
Knight.
That's right.
Now, her partner, the actor's name escapes me, so I'll just say guy that was in Career Opportunities with Jennifer Connelly.
Okay. Wow, that's a deep pull. Okay.
He is also a character from the comics.
Is he?
Yes.
Scarf is his name?
Scarf.
Okay.
But I felt that, 4 character backgrounds might have been, 5 might have been pushing it. So he's going to be in later episodes, so we'll get his information.
12 milkmen is plausible. 13 is ridiculous. If you get that reference, kids.
See, the actor's name is bothering me now. So
look at you.
So you keep talking while I...
All right, well, they're investigating the crime scene, and you have yourself some dead bodies. because, as we remarked, the crime scene, the gun deal went bad, and when it went bad, someone who was in on the
Frank Whaley is the actor.
Frank Whaley. There you go. No relation to Doug Whaley. We find out that Dante was killed.
Yes.
By Shameik.
Yes. Now, here's something that they do in the show, but given the show that this is in the universe that this show exists in, it's almost like they're saying Misty has some sort of powers.
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, but not really.
But the way they present it,
yeah, the way they present it is she has some sort of empathic ability.
I think it's kind of a misfire on the show's part, to be honest.
Yeah.
If she doesn't actually have abilities, which she doesn't, then they shouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah,
because
this
it
show
leads me to think, oh, she's got powers. And
Yeah.
an uninitiated viewer of the show might think like, oh, it's like Daredevil.
Yeah, if you don't read the comics and you're just watching these shows, you may very well think that she has some sort of power.
Right. But no, it's just a visual representation of how she can see the crime scene.
Yeah,
because she's a very good detective.
She's a very good detective.
Yes.
She's intuitive, and she can put this stuff together.
Yes.
So, yeah, slight misstep, at least in our opinion, by the show.
I agree.
But trust me, the show does not have very many missteps. So
No.
easily forgiven.
It just sticks out. That's all.
Yep.
So she knows Dante. How does she know Dante? She knows Dante's mama.
Yeah. And that's sad reality the show deals with.
Yep.
That, it's not so much grown-ups out there who are catching these bullets. Most of the times kids.
Yep. Kids who don't know any better.
Yeah.
So, cut back to the club.
Yes.
We meet Shades.
Shades. I love this character.
Fresh out of Sons of Anarchy, Shades shows up.
He's
Theo Rossi.
Just
I
really.
think that's his name.
Yeah. Theo Rossi. And we didn't mention, I apologize, Cottonmouth is portrayed by Mahershala Ali.
He's
I hope
good.
I'm pronouncing his first name correctly. Apologize if I'm not. Love this actor.
He's good.
He was, if you don't watch House of Cards,
I don't.
plays a very different character on House of Cards.
So he's getting all the Netflix money.
Oh, yeah, he's getting that Netflix love.
All right. Good on him.
But yeah, so we meet Shades.
Yeah. Now, we find out that he is out of prison.
Yes.
He was in Seagate prison.
Seagate ain't shit.
Seagate.
According to
Hey,
Shades.
family show.
Quoting Shades.
Family show,
Quoting
sir.
Shades.
And also, we find out that he works for someone named Diamondback, and Diamondback is supplying the guns to Cottonmouth.
Yes.
There's a lot of snake references going on here.
Well, yeah, maybe a tie into Serpent Society. No. I just realized Serpent Society are white supremacists.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
maybe not tie in.
No. Then again, no. Anyway, cut back.
Yeah, but one thing I want to observe in this scene, everything we've seen of Cottonmouth up to this point portrays confidence, authority,
Yeah.
and determination. The moment Diamondback is mentioned, he is visibly shaken.
Yeah. Well, we find out he's more the Vader and not so much the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But Shades assures him, you're not being taken over.
yeah. I'm here to help.
Diamondback's got your back. He wants you to win. I'm here to help.
Yeah. You know what we missed in the first scene from Harlem's Paradise?
What's that?
And especially for us, this is bad.
Oh.
Mariah mentions to Cornell.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
Fisk.
You don't see what happened to Fisk. You don't want that to happen to you.
Yeah. Daredevil doesn't get uptown much, though.
Makes me wonder. I'm really interested to see what... Like, yes, they announced that Sigourney Weaver is going to be the villain for Defenders.
Yeah, we didn't get to that in the case files there.
Did we not?
No.
Oh, my bad, folks.
It's okay.
In the Iron Fist trailer, we didn't get to that. Oh, God,
That's
we're
okay.
terrible hosts. We'll go
No,
into
it's
that.
fine. You know, is it wrong that I think Iron Fist looks like Chris Pratt?
Yes.
They
He
look
does.
the same.
No, he doesn't.
The gentleman playing him looks a lot like Chris Pratt.
He doesn't look like Chris Pratt.
Okay.
On the promotional material that's being used for Defenders so far, the
Yeah.
limited stuff that they've released, like you see, it says Defenders with the
Different
letters,
logos.
different fonts, but behind that is a hand reaching for the sign.
So do you think the hand is the villain?
Yeah,
Of the
I thought like, okay, we're bringing all these characters together. Is there a possibility that we're going to be bringing a lot of their villains together too? But now we have Sigourney Weaver. She's an
oddball left. That's kind of left field.
I'm interested to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
You know they're going to make an aliens joke at some point. Here's how you bring it together.
Uh-oh.
Because what was the incident?
Aliens.
Invasion.
Yeah.
So it could just be a line from Sigourney Weaver. I've had experience dealing with aliens before. See what I did there?
Does she get a flamethrower?
I'm going to say yes.
Does she get a mech suit?
I'm going to say yes because #HammerTech.
Does she at any point say, "Get away from her, you bitch"?
All this can happen because who's one of the defenders? Jessica Jones.
Okay.
Come on. What else you got? Because it can all happen.
That's it, really. That's
all right.
Good stuff.
Flamethrower, mech suit, HammerTech. Get away from her, you bitch. Jessica Jones.
This is all good stuff. I hope this comes to fruition. Boy.
So we're back at Pops.
Yeah.
And news has gotten out that Dante's dead.
Yes.
Pops feels bad because Pops was one of Dante's kid, Dante was one of Pops' kids, as he puts it. You know, Pops kind of goes through this speech of how he tries to get these kids off the street.
Right.
Very poignant line that none of these kids has a father. Every one of them has a gun.
Yep. Luke Cage said it. Yeah. Everyone has a gun. No one has a father.
Yeah. And this is one of the moments that the show kind of pauses and reflects on the status of inner city in a lot of cities in America.
Yeah.
I think it does an excellent job of it. While they kind of pause the show, they don't leave the show.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
But they let that line sit, and it hits.
Yeah. And then we get to Mariah. She's at an event. She's working the camera.
Yeah, dude, my notes here, politicians, man. Phony.
So skeevy.
Dude, as a point of reference, I went to like the Buffalo St. Patrick's Day parade once, and like,
God, why?
I was in my 20s and wanted to get,
all right,
getting shithoused, whatever. But I was stone sober early on, and sure enough, who was in the parade? But I don't know, some of our local schmuck politicians. I think Byron, maybe Chuck Schumer, although whatever. Anyway, when they like are smiling and greet you and shake your hand, it is the phoniest. You can see it on their face and how they talk. It is so fake. It is just like empty void.
Yeah.
It is it's just vacuous.
Yeah.
So I see Mariah here, and all I can think is just like, you are so phony. This is such an act. It's just so fake.
And that is driven home by when she gets to the end of the line, her aide is there immediately with hand sanitizer and just douses her with it.
How dare she touch the pores?
Yeah. But you know what? Just again, it's been a long time since I played devil's advocate.
Go on.
My all-time favorite television show, West Wing.
Uh-huh.
Towards the end of its run, like around its last season, actually dealt with in just like a little quick thing here and there. Alan Alda's playing one of the characters running for president.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually deal with like shaking hands constantly, like the physical effects of it. And he's like having to put his hands in an ice bucket and like wrap it up in an air cast. You never think like, maybe not on a local scale like we are here in Buffalo, New York, but when you're on a national campaign and you're shaking hands, a lot of people believe in that good, firm handshake. That's, you're an older man. I'm like, yeah, I see the look on your face, and it's kind of like, all this is BS, but I'm just saying.
All right.
Just saying.
Okay.
Like the West Wing.
All right.
So we have another meeting between Cottonmouth and Mariah. Mariah wants dad money.
Yeah. And as we find out, that money is now in the hands of Shamik and Chico. And Chico.
Chico and the man?
Do we know where Chico is yet?
No.
We know where Shamik is, though. Shamik.
Yeah, Shamik at a strip club.
He's at a strip club.
Yeah.
He getting the booty in the face.
Yeah.
Again, Marvel. My lord.
Kind of wish he was somewhere else, but
Where else would you go?
Yeah, I know. So they want to keep Shamik there so they can come pick him up.
But the lady at the club says, if you want me to keep him here, you're paying me.
Yeah.
So she rats him out to Cottonmouth.
Yeah. Then we cut back again to outside Genghis Khani's. We see a bunch of thugs that we saw in not only around Mariah at the event, but also, with Cottonmouth. And they're handing out pamphlets for the new Harlem Renaissance.
Which is Mariah's
Which
thing.
is essentially Mariah's front.
Right.
For whatever she's doing. But again, I think there's a part of this character that genuinely wants to do that.
Sure.
Again, it goes back to that, she's kind of got the 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
She does, but I think
mentality.
it's also she does, but why? And the why, it's nefarious. It's because she wants power and she wants recognition.
Yep.
So, yeah. Well, they get Shamik.
Yeah. And we come back to Harlem's Paradise, where we see Cottonmouth has some musical talent.
We do.
Do you happen to know the name of that instrument? I do not.
I think it's just an organ.
Not like a mini organ?
I don't know if there's anything specific about it, but the man can play.
Yes. Man's got some talent. And again, Luke need to get paid.
Asks his boss for his money.
Boss doesn't pay me under the table, so I'll pay you when I'm ready.
Yeah. But who should strut through the kitchen?
Well, first they bring through Shamik.
Right.
And
that ain't good.
Luke and him kind of lock eyes, and Luke's like, what are you doing?
Yep.
But then Shades comes through the kitchen.
Right.
This freaks Luke out.
Right. Because
Shades was in the dream in prison. He recognizes Shades. He's worried that Shades recognized him, but as we see in later episodes, he didn't recognize him because Luke looked extremely different.
No spoilers, but yes.
Luke was sporting what we like to call the Kimbo Slice.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Like a little bit. So, yeah, as I have here, good night, Shamik.
Everybody wants to be the king. That great shot is, Cottonmouth standing in front of the painting of Biggie Smalls with the crown on.
Yeah.
And walks up just enough to get it's a nice little camera trick. Gets up just to the point where he says everybody wants to be the king. Cottonmouth has eclipsed Biggie Smalls, but the crown.
Yeah.
Which is what's drawn to in the painting.
Yes.
It's on Cottonmouth's head.
So, he
gets slapped like a bitch.
He slaps him first. But
so
then
he slapped you like a bitch.
Then
slap. Then he jackhammers him.
Slap time's over.
I have a note here.
Yeah.
Marvel Netflix hates heads.
Yeah, a little bit.
They don't like the head of the human anatomy.
No, it's an easy target apparently.
Because there were
much suffering is inflicted.
Sounds reminiscent of a car door closing on, had some squishy, cracky sounds.
Yeah.
And props to Cottonmouth. He wasn't wearing brass knuckles or anything.
No.
He's just doing that work.
If I can make a comment to Cottonmouth, sir, I'd be like, you got a gift with your instrument. Keep those hands. You might not want to be doing this with your hands, my friend.
Well, they're probably conditioned to do both.
Hey, as a guitar player myself, dude, I value my hands.
Oh, I get it. So we cut back to Luke's apartment.
Well,
Luke.
I'm sorry. You're right. Luke's apartment.
Yeah. Luke's thinking about running.
He is. He's scared that Shades recognized him.
Yeah.
But he talks himself down.
We have a very brief flashback to Reva.
Yep. Where she reminds everyone that they have humanity.
Yeah, we see that
Luke has a book collection.
Still keeping the picture of Reva in the medicine cabinet.
Yes.
It's just an odd place to keep a picture of a loved one.
Well, it's out of sight, but it's there.
Yep. So Shamik's body gets dumped.
Yeah.
Scarf and Misty find it.
Yeah.
Know who he is. They're wondering who did it. At first they think Chico did it, but as Misty remarks, Chico is $1.50 wet. So, and then we get back to Genghis Khani's, which is a great scene.
So,
you saw it in the trailer. This episode is called Moment of Truth.
Yes.
This is the moment of truth that the episode's linked to.
So they're shaking down these Harlem Renaissance types are shaking down Genghis Khanis for money.
Yeah.
Donate to the thing for it's protection.
Yeah,
basically,
they're
what
shaking
it
her
is.
down for protection money.
That's right. And then and they tell them, we paid her already. We supported her before. We voted for her.
Yeah.
What does she need our money for now? Enough's enough.
And
so
it's strange that like she's trying to put up the front of a legitimate councilwoman.
Yeah.
And these guys are just throwing around her name like it's nothing.
I know, a little odd. But then again, hey man, fear is fear. So Luke sees this, and he's not having any of this.
No.
So the moment of truth.
Yep.
He goes in there and says, all right.
Don't like your tone.
I don't like your tone.
It's unnecessary.
That's right. And a gentleman by the name of Amos, I believe.
Amos, yeah.
Amos,
show Luke what you're famous for.
That's right.
Amos.
And it's not cookies. No. It's
no.
It's a fist to the face.
He had a very wicked right hook.
Well, now he's got a compound fracture.
Yes. He no longer has that very wicked right hook.
No. He has pulp where his wrist used to be.
Yep.
Because he tried to punch Luke in the face. And kids, if you don't know by now, Luke Cage has steel hard skin and he is super strong.
Yep.
You ain't going to punch him in the face.
And then Luke proceeds to take out the trash.
Yeah. Cleans house.
Except for the one guy.
The one guy
who gets smart.
Yeah.
Didn't ever really like those guys anyway.
That's correct.
Runs for
his life. And Connie returns the rent money.
Connie and her husband, they want to hire Luke to protect them.
Now, as a comic fan, I kind of went like, heroes for hire.
Yep.
Because Luke Cage, hero for hire back in the day, later heroes for hire when he and Danny Rand, a.k.a. Iron Fist, teamed up for the duration of the 70s.
Yep.
But Luke says, no, I don't want your money.
I got you.
I got you.
Luke. And then he puts on the hoodie.
Puts up the hood. I like the yellow interior, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice little nod to the comics.
We discussed this with Alan last week, the symbolism of the hoodie. I heard on our podcast this week, again, I mentioned him on the show before, Mark Bernardin raised a very valid point about the hoodie, Luke Cage's hoodie in particular in this show, as we see as it goes on later in the show. The hoodie is kind of Luke's Clark Kent hat and glasses.
Okay.
Because as you haven't gotten there yet.
No.
But
don't spoil it for me.
It'll become clear in the show. But this show kind of takes the hoodie back.
Okay.
For it gives it a positive visual as opposed to the visual that it too often has in media and society.
See, I'm still miffed about that, dude, because what am I wearing right now?
You're wearing a hoodie.
I love hoodies. I've loved hoodies for years.
Yeah, but you're wearing a hoodie that says Metallica and you're a white guy.
Either way, don't besmirch a whole line of clothing.
Stuff happens, man.
I know. I got no gripe with a hoodie.
All right. No, I know. Yeah, I know you don't, but unfortunately there are some people out there who do. And
I know. Those people are wrong.
The show works to change that.
Good.
So that is the first episode of Luke Cage. Any thoughts?
No, man. Within one episode, I was fairly hooked.
I was good. I was down.
But what I will say about this show, it gets better as it goes.
Yes.
If you were on the fence about episode 1, stick it out because like I said, I'm not done with it yet. But 6 or 7 episodes in, it gets really good, really good.
Yeah, and trust me, it stays good.
Good.
Oh, trust me.
So good.
Yep.
So much good.
So much good. So if you've got some thoughts on Luke Cage you'd like to share with us or just thoughts in general about the show, as always, you can reach out to us at Twitter. We're at Devil's Due Pod. You can find us on Facebook at facebooks.com/Devil's Due. You can email us at thedevilsduepod@gmail.com. And, of course, you can find all these connections at our fantastic website, thedevilsduepodcast.com. I think that about does it for us here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
That's all I got.
Okay.
We are uncaged.
We are uncaged.
Let us run free.
Court is adjourned.